Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Echo Arena Virtual Reality League Invitational, as we have 2 more series left for you today. My name's Kyle Laris. I'm your host throughout the next 2 days. And to my left-hand side, I have Jason Kaplan, and I have Blue bringing you all that. What now? What happened?
It's like we have Jason Kaplan and Blue. Gave him more. Gave him more emphasis than me.
Do you want me to go?
It's in my contract to have more emphasis than the guy I'm captain.
But he used your full name.
Yeah, because he goes
my
by
name.
that.
Yeah. But that's true, yeah.
Shall we go by his alternate past tag?
Revless?
To my left-hand side, we have but I love you and Blue. Anyway.
Excuse me. Yabba dee dabba die. Yabba dee dabba die.
He hasn't used that for a long time.
Yeah, but it's easy. It's easy to remember.
All right, we've got the Mercs going up against the Shocks here for our next round. In the lower bracket, because one of these teams, once again, is going to be eliminated moving forward. So basically, by the end of today, we find out our top 4, which means that we find out like our top earning players here for the 12,000 prize pool that we have available to us. So what do you think about Metamercs from their previous series that they had against Eclipse?
Well, I mean, he gave you more emphasis.
Well, you made the sound, so.
Is that the cue?
But yeah, no, the Metamercs, as we saw them play before, very, very competitive team. Have come like very close to taking down their opponents in the previous matchup, but sadly, again, just falling short at the end of it.
Yeah, I think they've had a little bit of a tough time coming into this tournament in particular. They did beat Gravity in their first match, and then they ran into Eclipse. And
I mean, that
tough time.
Sadly, that goes as expected.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I mean, you're not really gonna beat them unless you're like in prime form at the moment with how good they looked earlier on.
Right.
I think they were also very quiet compared to their earlier matches, the one we saw off air where they were playing against Gravity, and we did. I think it was Strembitsky that was just like screaming, "Viatrex, you suck!" But it was hilarious. It was great to see that kind of like good banter between the teams. But they were quiet. You know, they didn't get to play the style they wanted to against Eclipse. And I think this is a team more on their level. But I think this is honestly like a really close matchup between the two.
Well, they were quiet before, but once again, we can hear from them here at the tournament, see what they think about the overall position.
I've been dreaming of VR since I was a kid. When I finally saw the first prototypes of the Rift, like I'm gonna get one of those when they come out. And they came out, got one first day. I feel like I picked it up right away. It's very intuitive.
It's getting bigger and bigger, and I think VR esports will definitely blow up very soon, and that's why I'm so excited to be here.
When you get that VR headset on, the outside world disappears, and you're teleported into that game.
I don't think that there are any teams I'm worried against facing. Maybe Eclipse, just because they're unbeatable, but I don't think they're truly unstoppable. We scrim them a lot online, and we beat them pretty regularly. I think they've just had more practice than most of the people in terms of LAN events. I don't think the pressure of being on stage will get to me. I think any anxiety I get from it, I'll turn into hype. I'll get excited from it, and I'll play better with that.
I believe we can get first place. We've proven repeatedly we're one of the best teams. It's just, we need to execute. We need to play our A game, and we'll win.
I absolutely think that we could take the title. Absolutely. We got second place in stage finals recently. We lost to Eclipse because we didn't show up in the game. I know we can do it, and I feel like we will.
Metamercs dressing for the occasion, coming into this potential elimination match for either of these teams. On the other side, though, they go up against Aftershock, a team that we just saw play. And for me, Tutorial Bot really stood out as one of the prime playmaking players to actually potentially move them on forward. With Slin and Matty123 as well, they're looking to try and upset the status quo here in the VR League. Let's hear from what they had to say coming into the tournament.
I've just always been fascinated with the VR since, I don't know, many years ago. So I started out with the early Oculus dev kits and then just went from there.
I didn't think it was going to be very good. I thought it was just going to be a gimmick, a new gadget, a new toy, something I would buy and put under my bed or something. As soon as I got in it, I could see my hands, I could move them. It was crazy. I got into Echo Arena because it was a free game. And when you were moving around in virtual reality and 0G, and this was incredible. We all get on very well. We're from different countries. Slin is the official captain, but I tend to do most of the talking.
So I think the strongest member is probably Matty right now, because he's our defender. He catches a lot of discs and he's also our best shot.
I've never played an American team. I don't know what to expect, especially from a team like Eclipse. Strategy-wise, it's going to be the evolution thing. I'm going to play it by ear.
I know I'm also going to get a bit excited closer to the match. That's not going to help. It's going to be tough, but I hope we can do it anyway.
For us to actually win would be incredible, although it seems somewhat unlikely. However, it would just feel like a stepping stone for OC5, which is coming up, which all of us have our eyes on at the moment. But it'd be a good confidence boost.
Team Aftershock wants to bring down the buildings that we see here from Metamercs, and they definitely have the potential to do so. I feel like this, for me, could be one of the closest matches of the tournament. Is that fair to say, or am I clutching at straws here?
No, I think it's a pretty fair assessment. It's just a little bit hard to judge how Metamercs will do versus Aftershock here.
Sure.
Because of the fact that their last match sadly goes so one-sided. Like, they're able to hold off Eclipse pretty well in their previous matchup, and just that alone is something to talk about. But sadly, again, without them getting a whole lot of points, it's really hard to judge now how they're going to perform against a team that is more on their level, since we didn't get to see their A game in the previous match.
It's kind of rough considering that both of these two teams have played against the #1 seed from, or so not #1 seed, but the #1 and 2 seeds from NA.
Yeah.
We had Metamercs play against Eclipse, #1 seed, and #1 team I think we've seen so far. And then 11.5 did play against Aftershock. Wait, did I just completely... Yeah, they did play against
Well,
them.
regardless, it's time to get into the game.
I swear, I know it's getting late, but I swear they did play against them, so they both played some really difficult matches, but now this is going to be another tough one for both two teams.
Let's do it. Metamercs scopes against Aftershock here in an elimination match in the league.
Getting into it, we've almost got a goal opportunity set up. In fact, and it's going to be just that. Tutorial bot showing up once again right at the start of the map with Aftershock sinking a three-pointer to start things off.
It was almost like playing rock, paper, scissors there, and it looked like Metamercs just threw paper when Aftershock threw scissors and just got a clean shot off onto that one, just calling their bluff. And a little unfortunate for Metamercs to start off like that, because we need to see them get riled up. We need to see, hear Strambitsky just start screaming at players, and not to mention be the first scorer, because that's where we see Metamercs be initially successful.
Screaming at your opponents, I feel like, is hard in VR, though, because you don't know where they are, like, in real life.
I mean, you're in the same room as them, right?
Yeah, but, like, you don't know where you are, like, positionally. Like, you could just scream at the wall, like...
That'd be so funny.
And then
you see one of the players trying to talk trash, and you're just screaming at a wall instead.
You just wouldn't look too smart now, would you, doing that?
You suck! Why is that to a wall, mate?
So we've got Metamercs making a run right now. It's going to be pretty uncontested as well. Fair enough was set up for it and takes a second attempt, but he sinks it. And just like that, we've got Metamercs with a good response after Aftershock picking up the opening goal.
You know what I want to see more of, actually? I want to see more three-pointers with having one of your own players behind the goal. And the reason for that is you come in when the disc is about to score, and you stun the goalie to guarantee yourself a three-pointer.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of synergy level of plays. We haven't seen that like too often. And again, it can be very, very situational.
So I feel like it's something that's very hard to time properly as well, because that takes like a lot, as you were mentioning, it takes like a whole lot of coordination to set up properly, and there's a whole lot of things that could go wrong while setting that up. So it's definitely not something I would imagine any teams will start relying on. In the heat of the moment, though, I imagine it could definitely be done pretty easily.
Again, playing in jeans there. I think that's Slyn on Aftershock. Really risky, really ballsy play out of him, because it means he can't bend down as easily and be as mobile. Meantime, Aftershock have maintained possession for a good amount of this joust. Not joust. What do we want to call this?
I like to call it the volley.
The volley. Yeah, good. Yeah, I like that. The good initial part of this volley that you have had control, had possession. But quickly, Fair Enough's going to be able to steal that one away. Looking for a break. But again, they have three players next to him. Slyn's just being stunned up in towards the backhand side. Gets a decent bounce to get it pushed a little bit further into the enemy territory. And Strambitsky's going to be there to pick it up. Gets a nice pass over to Speedy. Speedy now looking for the shot. He's got one man between him and the goal. And he's going to throw it on the high-end side. And Metamercs going to take the lead.
If he hit that stun maybe like a half second earlier, I'm pretty sure it would have been enough to stop it from going in or cause a really inaccurate throw to go wildly into the open right there. Had great timing on it. Sadly, it was just a little bit off there. So close, and we'll get to see that one more time. You can see the stun goes just as he was releasing it. So if he gets out there maybe like quarter second sooner, would have successfully stopped the goal attempt.
You can see possession there, pretty much bang on between the two, 37 to 34 seconds. And stuns as well, actually favoring Aftershock at the moment. But as you can see, the score is not going to be having Matty pick up the disc. playing on the high. He actually just pushed up slowly here. Fair enough, he's actually able to lure him away, so the pass will potentially be coming in. Throws to the right-hand side where Fair enough was almost able to block out onto that one. And actually, in the meantime, Maddie's still going to be sticking very, very far back for his team here as Aftershock is looking for the 2-on-3 play.
There's not a lot of good pass opportunities being presented right now to Aftershock. This is why they're moving so slowly, because they're just constantly have players from Metamercs all over them when they're trying to pass.
There we go!
Okay.
That's what I was looking for.
They were listening to you, I think.
That's exactly what I wanted to see. Like, if you're not going to stop the other defender, or the other attacker, if you're not going to be a defender that goes out and punches him to stop it and delay this, then that's an easy score. That's like perfect Echo Arena right there, I'd say.
There we go. Shoots just as he's crossing the threshold of the 3-point bubble. And with that, and with the stun coming in from the other side, sinks it very cleanly to give Aftershock back control now. It's been Tutorial Bot that scored both the goals so far, as he claims all 6 points for Aftershock.
Looking good. Now, I mean, that's such a crisp play. That's what I love to see when you get to this high level, play styles and communication and strategy between the two teams here participating. But now Strambitsky, again, I like the slow little play. You know, you're not in a hurry. You're only down by 2. You have a ton of time left. It's a nice little forward pass to Fair enough. He's coming in from the lower hand side. Gets a pass back onto Speedy, who passes back to Strambitsky, looking for the shot. Here he comes in and just slam dunks it in. And that's going to tie things up here between the two teams.
That's what that upside down play style as well is going to throw you off a little bit as the goalie, just because you don't necessarily know how the trajectory is going to end up working out when the disc is physically thrown. So we'll get a replay of that once again, with another goal being scored by Metamercs to keep them competitive in the game. Only a 2-pointer, however, so it's only served to tie things up at 6-6 now.
Yeah, we see them getting riled up, and that's what we want to see with the Metamercs. When they played against Eclipse earlier on, they were so quiet. It was so dominating of a game out of Eclipse, but now we see them riled up. We see them getting antsy, getting well, I was going to say frisky. That doesn't really make sense of the situation, but just getting the blood going and getting them pumped up for this match.
Pass once again going over to Aftershock here right now. Tutorial doesn't have a clean shot just yet, so he's going to pass it one more time. They won't go directly in for the stun, but regardless, it goes in anyway, and Aftershock respond right back after the Metamercs had just tied things to keep them in control of the lead now at 8-6.
What's going on down there? Here's a stomp.
Yeah. It's a dance routine or something like that.
It's their victory dance.
Yeah.
No, but this is a very close game between the two. I mean, we've only had half the time pass by, but we've had 14 points accumulated from both two teams. You see the voting there. You guys can still check that one out. ESL.gg/MMVSAS. Get your vote in. Also, we still have a giveaway as well for the Oculus Rift. Get the link up there for you guys to potentially win one of those bad boys. Can definitely recommend it. Now, Metamercs with control. Strambitsky, again, playing slow, pushing in, baiting out a defender as well.
Strambitsky running into some problems, though, as he wasn't expecting them to get so aggressive against him. So it's going to be a bit of a scramble for control of the disc right now. It flips hands. It goes over into Aftershock instead. Bit of a risky pass. They're trying to bounce it off the ceiling when they're so close to you, and that will cause a flip of sides once more. For now, Metamercs pick it up. Are they going to be able to keep it, though? This is a long pass. It's not looking like they have anyone to actually support it, however, so we'll see Aftershock immediately retrieve it and go for another quick clear towards mid.
Yeah, they have people sticking together. It's such like a positive and negative thing. Actually, get back to in a second so you can hear them screaming. The disc has been thrown, but unfortunately not the right angle. But you want to like obviously spread out so you can cover the angles they're going to throw the disc when they go for clears. But if you spread out, you're not near enough to each other to daisy chain and to slingshot across to get to this quick enough. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword when it comes to grouping versus ungrouping.
Maddie right now, he's looking for a pass opportunity. He's going to have to get rid of it eventually. As you can see, Strambitsky looking to crawl over towards him and punch him out to deny that, but it won't be happening. And now they've got great passes, but fair enough, coming out of nowhere there from the top side of the arena. Comes down, steals it right out of their hands, and now picks it up for himself and try and toss back towards the other side. He has to pass it backwards, though. Now there's just a little bit too much pressure ready to go, and a nice stun will cause the disc to be sent loose, and now into the hands of Aftershock for now.
We're starting to get some crucial moments here too, Blue, because we have a minute left to go, and Metamercs need to score. It's still in the first round here, this best of 3, coming in from the side.
This could be it.
Looking for a shot from Strambitsky. He's going to actually ding it off the rim. It will bounce out, but it bounces right back into the hands of Fair Enough, who's now in the lower hand side, looking for a potential pass off here, a potential score, but Slim grabs the disc out of the air, gets a phenomenal clear. Look at Tutorial Bot getting thrown across the entire arena. This is going to be a guaranteed 3 points, and there you go. Aftershock lengthening the lead even further.
I think Slyn is really the hero of that one there, too, as we have the banging going on back over at the arena stage. But you'll see as well that after these guys get launched, number 8, Slyn, is still sitting right on top of the entire Metamercs roster, and I think delayed their slingshot long enough with 1 or 2 knockouts to be able to allow for them to get a quick clear.
I'm just imagining him like windmilling it. You know what that move is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just imagine him doing that whenever we see like one player locked against 3.
Spins around.
Just swinging his fists of fury. But 5-point lead, 38 seconds to go. If Metamercs are going to have a chance to tie things up, they need to score, and they need to do it now. Look at this aggressive push-up for Speedy, who's trying to look for a little bit of a backdoor play. Pass off back to Fair Enough, who's going to miss the pass, unfortunately. At the time, it's slowly going off.
That's the other problem, too. Metamercs need at least 2 goals to get back into this, too, so they need to try and get this goal as quickly as possible. They're passing around among teammates right now. They need to just go for it, however, and this is going to be a good opportunity, but sadly, Matty is there, ready to stop it, so he immediately clears it once more. Metamercs may get one of their opportunity, but they don't have time to score that second goal now, so it is pretty much secured at this point for Aftershock.
Yeah, especially with that little disengagement there. Full clear coming through. And Aftershock, well, they will be able to take this first round here, this best of 3. Remember, the loser will be going home, and the winner will be going on to play against, I believe, the winner of Gravity and Blast. Had to double check the brackets really quickly. So it doesn't get any easier for them, but the pressure is on, the stakes are there. And after that round, Aftershock are definitely looking spot on.
Very, very intense right there. The problem is, as well, is there was just too many opportunities where we had guys from, we had guys from Metamercs that were still like contained by just 1 or 2 players from Aftershock that were just punching them out one by one and preventing slingshot access. That wasn't the only time that we saw a denial on goal or a denial on the retreat happening there. We saw that happen 1 or 2 other times as well, which is what allowed them to get quite a few points ahead of the guys on Metamercs at the end of the game.
Well, now going into the next match, I mean, Metamercs need some time to talk things over potentially to figure out what's going right or wrong. I feel like you might, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Strembitsky's been just relatively quiet over the course of this entire event so far. Not to call him out in particular, but, seeing him on Sunday, he was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, compared to that Sunday Cup, and even the games that we had off-stream earlier today as well, he's been a much quieter player overall. It's been a little bit of an odd shift. I don't know if it's circumstantial is what would be my best guess right now, but we're going to have to kind of watch that as the weekend goes on and see if he kind of picks up the heat a little bit here. A little bit of a slow attempt of a goal there from Matty, so it is going to get picked up by the goalie and sent back over to the middle here as the Metamercs try to get some control going for themselves. And they have an open opportunity right now. It's going to be a shot, but it's way too low, and that opens up an immediate retrieval for Tutorial Bot to fling it back over into the middle.
There's a potential to bounce it up actually a little bit higher, so his teammate who was, slingshotted in was able to grab it and go for a dunk, but it doesn't work out for him, and now they have to pay the price for this one as we see now Matty trying to get across the map. And we'll get the retrieval on the disc as it looks like Slim was just trying to stall people yet again here on their own side of the field. That's going to be a deep pass coming through, but fair enough, craps it out of the air. Passes off to Strembitsky, who's now looking to push up. He actually blocks a punch coming through, gets the throw in towards deep. But right into the hands of Matty again.
This is just going back and forth all over the map right now here. Neither team can get good controls. There's a bunch of panic goal attempts, but no one's been able to even secure one just yet. Once again, goes right next to the orange team's goal, right next to Metamercs' goal, but they're going to send it right back over to here to mid. They do have to avoid Slin, but he's been punched out now, so they're going to be good to set up a passing rotation.
Minute and 15 seconds have gone by. We've had a single score yet to happen in this round. Faraduff's going to be pushing in. He's got one man to stop. It's going to be Matty who comes straight into him, takes away the disc, throws over towards teammate Slim, at least in the general direction. And Sling gets a great little stun yet again, this time onto Strembitsky. They've got the players pushed forward. They got the slingshot coming in, though, to Metamercs to get back here in time to defend.
Here we go, though. A lot of pressure coming in, but it's stolen right out of their hands, and this is going to take Metamercs right back over to middle. Problem for Strembitsky, though, is he's alone. He can't break away from this so easily just as a solo player, but what is that? A completely whiffed pass. Looks like Metamercs are trying to shoot up the field, so bad communication for Metamercs, and now Aftershock are going to get another chance here.
Oh, the great little punch there to Speedy comes in, actually deflects the disc away. They stop that potential three-pointer from going out. Speedy's being pushed in, gets a pass towards the teammate. Can he get their time? No, the island's just going to block out on this one. Now 2 minutes have gone by yet without a single score here, Blue.
This is definitely going to be the longest run we've had without a single team scoring so far. Aftershock trying to get back control, but this is going to turn into an all-out brawl right here for the disc. Slin gets it for now, passes it back to Tutorial Bot. Probably will throw it up right now, but no! It's stolen again, this time by Strembitsky as he sneaks up on them, and we'll take it back through the mid-tunnel. But look at that! So quickly the guys on Aftershock get themselves a slingshot established, and Tutorial Bot catches the disc as it's heading down the field to send it back the other way once again.
Oh, they got no one on the defense. Luckily, it's going to be Speed there to pick up the disc in time. Tries to pass it off, but does hit the angles yet again. It's going to be a big brawl, breaking down in the middle of the field. Tries to throw it backwards for a teammate, and Speedy will be there yet again. They have the slingshot potential to get there, but there's going to be one man. It's going to be Matty here to defend against this. He's going to be one-on-one. He does have his teammates finally coming in. The shot going to be thrown into Speedy, and it does get blocked, but still goes in nonetheless. And after 2 minutes and 46 seconds of time, finally Metamercs are able to put a score on the board.
Sadly, it is a punch block, not a grab block from Matty right there, which means the disc will continue moving forward, and you'll probably see this as well. He did successfully stop it, but it still floated towards the goal and inside of it, allowing for them to get the score off, and now the 2-0 lead. We're going to have to see if they can hold on to it.
It's an OG, as I learned today in football terms. Scored his own goal against him. Because, as you see, no one got points because of it, because he scored on himself, unfortunately, there. A little bit unfortunate for them, but now Aftershock. They're going to have control of the disc. That was such a long volley between the two teams. I mean, we talked about, being worn out and how much, effort it takes to play this since it's such a physical game. That stint of almost 3 minutes of playing nonstop has to make them really weary.
That is definitely going to be taking a lot of energy out of these players here now. But Aftershock seems like they had a lockdown goal right there. Not the case. And now Metamercs jumping on top of them. Strumbitsky gets a nice clear. If they can waste time, that's certainly a goal they can aim for at this point, considering how long it took just to get the first goal on the board. Look at this, though.
See him just punching him. Yeah, he's trying to stop any sort of play coming from this one, but the actually disc bounces low, which gives an opportunity for Slin. He goes for the shot, and he gets the three-pointer. Aftershock finally able to score this time after 40 seconds. Finally get him on the board and taking the lead, most importantly.
Strumbitsky thought he was going to be, Speedy, thought he was going to be safe to jump off and retrieve the disc, but he had bad prediction. It banks off of the islands, goes down into Slin's hands instead, who has an open goal to secure that three-pointer right there. Nice spur-of-the-moment opportunity taken upon by Slin.
Possession. 1 second of difference between the two teams in this round. That's insane, and yet Aftershock have taken more shots, apparently, and the stun difference of only 5 between the two teams still favoring Aftershock. In general, the stats are favoring the team on the blue side. But Metamercs, they're fighting tooth and nail for every point they have. Again, it took almost 3 minutes of time to get those first 2 points on the board. Now pushing back up. They have all three trying to play from the roof. Trying to play from that high end side. A great pass to Speedy. Great. Oh, potential follow-up to Fair Enough. But unfortunately, the pass wasn't there.
Both players are going to knock each other out right there, however, so it's going to take those two players out of the game for just a second. Slin, however, tries to retrieve it, but again, a little bit of a bad prediction on where exactly the disc was going, so he misses that opportunity, and now we've got two players moving in for the Metamercs to try and score. The unsuccessful this time. Slin will get punched out, but he successfully clears it back over to mid before that process happens, and now they picked it back up, and this could be the run right here. They launch the disc, but look at how quickly Metamercs are moving in. Strumbitsky gets it back, and he'll have an opportunity to pass over to Speedy to take it through mid.
He's got a player as well, Fair Enough, already pushed up in towards the middle, but again, the disc does hit a wonky little bounce. He's trying to come in. The defenders will be there for Aftershock, so he throws it back out to Speedy, slowing this down a little bit more, trying to bait in the defenders. Slin gets pushed in, gets punched out. Now it's a one-on-one, goes off the backboard, and Fair Enough scores again. 4-3 now for Metamercs, and there's 34 seconds left.
34 seconds left. Aftershock will start off with possession going into the next round, however, as they are hyped they got that goal. They've got a 1-point lead. They do have to be very careful, though, as if Aftershock score either a 2 or a 3-pointer, they'll take back the lead, and more than likely there will not be enough time for a response from the Metamercs.
Well, again, Metamercs lose out on this round. They're going home. They're already down 1-0 in the series. Aftershock, can they pull this one back? Or will be going to a match number 3 between the two? Let's see, as the initial volley going to start off. Matty securing the disc. He knows time is not on their side.
Torbot's left open right now. He can take a pass. Matty's still going to push forward on his own. However, they've got to be careful because Fair Enough is trying to sneak up onto them right now, and he can very much steal that disc away. Disco is flying. It is going to be Torbot that tries to take another whiff pass, though that's going to waste a good 2 to 3 seconds. His teammate Slin, you can see he's got his hands up. He's trying to remain open for a pass. Speedy's going to try to jump onto him. There's a goal opportunity. He's going to get close, and it's another goal from Aftershock this time. A 2-pointer will net them the lead, and now Metamercs have only 10 seconds to respond before they are eliminated from the event.
How do you go about this if you're Metamercs? Aftershock, they don't even have to challenge out on the follow. They can all sit back and defend. You have to get this disc up so far, so quickly to try to pull this one back. Can they do it here, Blue? This is definitely one of the closest games we've had today. It's going to come down to these last 10 final seconds for Metamercs to keep their hopes alive, to stop themselves from having to go home. Can they do it?
It's got to be light speed for them here. Out they're going to go, picking up the disc off of the initial push, and now it's going to be an attempt to pass it over towards Speedy. Already down to 5 seconds. He'll make a run for it, but the pass was missed, and that settles it, ladies and gentlemen. Aftershock with a 5-4 lead take the second round and a 2-0 advantage, pushing them on further into the lower bracket, and sadly, although it was very well fought, knocking the Metamercs out of the event.
I mean, you saw Metamercs, though. Like, once they got going, they looked so good. They were so energized and everything, and it just came down to that last little score by Aftershock just to be able to pull that one back with 10 seconds remaining. I mean, Klars, almost 3 minutes of time to score that first goal, that shows how intense that series was.
A seismic volley coming out there from Aftershocks as they're able to take the 2-0 in the...
Took me a second there.
Oh, there you go. Metamercs, unfortunately for them, are eliminated from the tournament. And overall, though, what a series. Like, with that 2-0, yes, okay, it's a 2-0 in the end. But I really think if you look at that scoreline as a whole, it really doesn't do justice to how kind of close and back and forth that game truly was.
That was incredibly close. The first round was a little bit sloppy, a lot of missed passes and things like that, causing things to be a little bit more chaotic than they necessarily should have been. But that second round, oh my goodness, so back and forth the entire time. And that entire first volley just took 3 minutes, and it wasn't because of mistakes. It wasn't necessarily because of mistakes that were happening for the team. It's just because there were so many good counters that were happening. We had passes that were getting intercepted because of like in-the-moment slingshots that were getting established by the opposite team.
And actually, I mean, to that point, about that kind of 3-minute volley that we had going on there, that was exciting. It's not, yeah, okay, you score goals, that's an exciting moment and stuff like that, but the true back and forth of trying to counter constantly, that was an exciting 3 minutes, the constant back and forth.
And how tense it must be for the players as well, realizing like, oh, wow, we've got a long time without scoring, guys. Like, someone's going to score eventually, right? And you know, if you're that player, you make that one mistake, you miss that one punch, or you get punched when you should have blocked, or you throw it the wrong direction, or you can't hit the pass directly, you could be causing your team to fall behind after so much time has already been elapsed.
The entire time it was like super high speed too throughout that first volley, just because as well, that's going to leave very little room for mistakes. The fact that both teams were able to play that first volley so perfectly at such a high speed, going back and forth to opposite sides of the arena, was very impressive by both teams.
Well, let's head down to the stage now as Slyn, the man who was jumping up and down during that game, is ready for an interview.
Thank you, James. I'm here with Slyn, the team captain of Aftershock, showing us how he does, jumping up and down after each of the goals. What was it like when you noticed that Maddie was there to stop the goal but didn't quite get the stop and ended up with an own goal?
I think that just happens. In my opinion, it hit his head, but I couldn't really see that. I don't know where I was, but yeah, that's what I think happened, so I'm okay with that. It was unlucky.
So you're going to let Maddie get away with that, hopefully. You know, he is very dangerous in the goal. I know that you had to recruit this team kind of last minute as you lost Af and Terror. The Jacks sort of split up, so you've had to build your own team in order to take what's left of them. I heard from the other EU players that they were afraid to play Meta, who you've got rid of, because they consider them a wild card. They're individually all really good, but they don't really play a lot of team style. They just know what each other's going to do, making them hard to predict. Did you feel that way about them going in?
I had no idea what to expect, so yeah, I suppose I did. In my opinion, they have a very similar style to what we play in the EU, so our normal game kinda worked, but we had to switch up one of our jousts because our normal thing didn't work, since they tend to stay a bit further back. The second game was really close, so I'm really happy we won that. Yeah.
It was really close, and it's always fun to watch. But right now, the European teams are incredibly happy. They did not want to go up against Meta. They said that they felt like you would be a match that they at least could understand. Both Gravity and Blast, who are about to come up next. We expect Blast probably to win that one, so it's going to be you against your former teammates. I know that that's going to be very difficult for you to do, but you think you have a chance against them after this long day?
We'll give our best, definitely. They tend to be a bit stronger than us, usually. But we can beat them if we do everything well, and they didn't have a good day today. Or at least they weren't on their best, so I think there's at least a chance that we can win that.
Well, at least you will have a long rest between then and there to figure out what they're going to do. Hopefully you can meta-game them a little bit by getting them to stay up a little too late tonight. That's it for Slyn from Aftershock. Back to you, James.
Thank you very much, Kia. As, of course, we do see Aftershock moving on there. And that means they've guaranteed themselves top 4. So at least they've already gotten themselves into the money here, of course, alongside Eclipse on 11.5. And now we're just waiting to see if Blast or Gravity is going to be making it. A lot of people, I think, looking into that game are going to be thinking to themselves, Blast will be the ones making it into that top 4. But there's always the potential for an upset here. We've already seen it throughout the day.
I mean, like when you asked us about like Metamercs, where do you see them going throughout the entire day? And like top 4 was like almost a guarantee in our heads. Top 3 was a guarantee in my head. And then to get shut out by Aftershock right there. Then, to be fair, to rescue my own point, I did say if Aftershock would be a team that could potentially push them out of that top 3 or top 4, and they were able to do it there. Just some good old play from both teams. I really actually
agree.
That's probably one of my like favorite matches. That one right there, the round 2 was that I've seen so far today.
That fair to say, Blue, it was a good match.
Absolutely. I mean, easily the best match of the day we've had so far, that round 2 right there. And even the first round being relatively exciting for different reasons. Obviously, we had a lot of fumbles and things of that nature, but still very exciting to watch just because of the unpredictability of it. We had no clue what was going to happen. Even going down to the wire on this second round, down to the last couple of seconds, there was that attempt, obviously, for the Metamercs to get back into it, but they just didn't have enough time left.
Yeah, definitely. And overall, looking at Aftershock making that top 4, of course, what do you think their prospects are? If you think Blast is going to come through there, which is kind of our anticipation, is that where you feel that Aftershock's road is going to end down at this lower bracket, or?
I honestly don't know, because I think at that point is where the bracket gets a little bit more unpredictable, and a team like Aftershock has already shown us a lot of prowess throughout this tournament, so I feel like there's still room for them to continue trucking onwards further into the tournament, personally.
I think it's going to definitely be a tough one, though, if they do play against Blast. Considering Blast is like the #1 European team at the moment, where they got pushed to the limits against 11.5, who's seen as the #2 team in North America. That's kind of a sign into what potential EU has to offer when it comes to these top players from NA. I think honestly, so assuming, let's just assume, and I feel bad saying that for Gravity that Blast moves through.
Sure.
I think honestly tomorrow anyone can beat anyone. I think Eclipse aren't necessarily immortal. They're damn close to it, but I don't think they're immortal. I think teams can still beat them, and I think especially like on this LAN environment and after like a night's rest for people to review other teams' games, when you know the match, like one of the 2 matches you have to play that next day, you can already prepare and look at it.
Yeah,
gives teams a lot more comfortable feeling, I think.
Well, I think what's important to note about the upper bracket as well is whoever wins that match between 11.5, of course, and Eclipse. If whoever wins that actually gets 2 lives in the final effectively, because they were never knocked down to the lower bracket, so they have the best of 3 to begin with, and if they lose that, then there is another best of 3 to determine who is the champion. Yeah. So having a best of 3 in hand is a huge advantage in this kind of double elimination final situation, right?
Yeah, and especially if you get to the the exhaustion kind of aspect of it.
Course.
I don't know how long of a break they had between both series, but it's guaranteed not as long as they've had throughout the entire day of like the couple-hour breaks between their match and the next match. It's definitely going to be a tough one tomorrow, I think, in the grand finals. And if it's Eclipse there, beating them once is already going to be hard, but to do it twice, we'll see if anyone can do it.
Here is Aftershock's road through the bracket overall. They were knocked down to the lower bracket by 11.5, and then from there, Omegators fell to them. Likewise, so did Metamercs, and they find themselves now in lower bracket round 3. They are awaiting the winner of Blast or Gravity, which is very important, and that is going to be our final series of the day. Thank you very much, of course, to Intel joining us along the road here for the VR League for Oculus Rift, as we are now going to go to a short break, and when we return, we are going to have that final series of the day. Blast goes up against Gravity.